Hi, welcome everyone to ER360 Turning Urban Models into Shared Understanding. Today is March the 3rd, 2026, and this session is being recorded. You'll be able to review the live playback later on. Uh, for our listeners out there, the version of Erwin in ER360 that we will be presenting and demonstrating today are 15.2. So with that, Kevin, welcome to the webcast. And if you would like to bring up your PowerPoint of Erwin, where Erwin ER360, I should say, where models finally make sense, and then we can go ahead and begin.
Okay, thank you, Robert. And let me see,
There we go. I can see
PowerPoint is up, running.
Yep, that's great.
That's
Yeah,
first baby step to get things going.
Excellent. It all looks good so far. So just for our listeners out there, I saw the alpaca photograph in the background there. That was interesting. A lot of people are looking to provide some kind of visual capability out to their business community. And so Quest has developed their ER360, which allows you to take the Erwin models and push them out, harvest them, as the term is called, into a MART repository where it can then be showed to the business community. So we're going to go through that process. We're going to explain a couple of things ahead of time, so long as Kevin continues to appear there, because you're fading in and out, Kevin. But we're going to walk you through some of the PowerPoint presentation steps, some of the topics we're going to cover. And then, Kevin, understand once we go through the PowerPoint, then we're going to dive into a demonstration of Erwin models harvesting into the Erwin portal. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, we'll dive into a harvesting process.
All right, well, take it away, Kevin. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. So to Robert's point, Erwin ER360 is a Quest software tool that allows you to turn MART data models into add enterprise models. Understand for business community. It's important the business value of Erwin ER360. It turns technical data model content into a shared, trusted, reusable understanding that non-technical technical stakeholders can use. Okay, second. So here, what we're showing here is the locked door. Many companies may have great data models that exist, but they're trapped inside a modeling tool. So when we have some trapped information, you have a business disconnect where business users can add definitions or ask model. May have late reviews, feedback happens too late, and they're difficult to be efficient. Yeah, bottlenecks, where models can become the bottleneck of the basic visibility questions, as well as hidden risk, where sensitive data risks are harder to spot in complex schemas. So Erwin ER360 gets you out of that trap by turning your models and their metadata into a shared web accessible read-only experience fed directly from the MART repository. So non-modelists can use the self-serve application to avoid these traps. So there's the bridge between rigor and readability. So ER360 is a collaborative web portal that provides unified visuals of Erwin data model that allow stakeholders to manage, review, govern models via a self-service access The goal is to the self-service access with controlled collaboration. Erwin ER360 serves as the bridge between Erwin Data Modeler and the broader community of data consumers and governance teams, enabling shared visibility and structured decision making around which models need updates, reviews, and a collaborative refinement. One of the use cases of Erwin ER360 is modernization. In this example, you have a legacy system with data models stored in the data mart. You can use ER360 to harvest those models into the ER360 application. From there, you can use that information as needed, such as to support modernization efforts, including migrating or redesigning the environment on a cloud platform. So this slide shows the architecture and the ecosystem of the ER360 environment. ER360 architecture can be on-prem or in the cloud, and it's built around a centralized repository which can be deployed again on-premise or in a cloud-based environment, depending on your organization's infrastructure and hosting approach. So this particular slide that we show here is the whole workflow process. So when we have Erwin ER360, you start with a data model. Typically, it's created, maintained in Erwin Data Modeler, and it's saved to the data mart itself. From the data mart, that model can be harvested and published into ER360 as read-only, where it becomes available to your broader audience of consumers. Once published, your data stewards, DBAs, data modelers, and architects can log in, assuming that they have been defined in ER360, into ER360 and visualize these harvested data models through the web application. Therefore, those users can review structures, relationships, and metadata without needing the Erwin desktop modeling tool. So collaboration without chaos. So Erwin ER360 enables collaboration. So between modelers and business end users in a single centralized place. Instead of exporting data models to, for example, PowerPoint or Visio or Adobe PDF or even a share file environment, you could use the ER360 to manage multiple. Uh, uh, I'm sorry, you could publish and share the model through ER360. That's the solution. From there, users can add comments where needed and endorse or certify information about the model objects and attach supporting documentation through attachments directly to those objects within ER360 itself. So this is the most important slide, I believe, in the whole adventure of ER360. Is you're looking at the metadata itself in the application, and the more part of the most important aspect is your global search, visual browsing, and your logical physical diagram toggles, which make metadata discovery faster and more meaningful by helping users quickly find the right assets, terms, tables, columns, reports, your domains, UDPs, understand how they connect, and see how the business meaning and technical implementation in one continuous flow. And we have the curate and reporting aspects of the tool in ER360 through collections and worksheets. So worksheets in ER360 function like save repeatable reports, save searches where you define the object types and the filtering criteria. You could rerun them anytime to return an updated set of results, and then you could share them with other users and export that information as a CSV file. Collections, on the other hand, are curated and persistent work lists. Users manually can assemble a specific list of metadata objects they want to track, such as an example, items for stewardship, review, cleanup, or analysis. Save that list over time, share it with others for collaboration, and you could also export that information as the collections as CSV. So within the most recent release of erwin ER360 was the closing the loop with Jira in version 15.2. So what closing the loop with Jira is done through Erwin Data Modeler, as well as the Erwin Mar portal, as well as ER360. That's the workflow, where a Jira issue is linked to a model, and then review and approval activity in ER360 is synchronized back to Jira. How this closes the loop in practice: you have your model change, which happens in Erwin DM. You save that to the Mart. You then harvest those changes to ER360. Jira becomes the system of record for execution through tasks, assigning those tasks, due date, and workflow statements. And ER360 becomes the system of record for review, approval, evidence through comments and certifications. And the integration keeps both aligned via links, comments, and status synchronization.
And Kevin, obviously some clients have Jira. Some
Yes.
clients do not. Some clients maybe have ServiceNow or other applications. My understanding is that there will be more of these applications that be linked in the future. Is that correct?
That, I believe that is correct, through information from
Yeah.
product management on their
Cool.
roadmap.
Yeah, so just be aware that other help desk service applications are on the roadmap there. So thank you, Kevin.
Correct. Thank you, Robert. Then we have the built in with ER360. So what we mean by that is governance built in includes SDI, grant permissions, and user profiles. And this is primarily delivered through role-based access control in ER360 that can be applied at different scopes, catalogs, your library, and at the model level. That combined with the SDI tagging in Erwin, this enables consistent governance, tight access control, and clear visibility into where sensitive data exists. And this brings us to return on investment of ER360 collaboration. It's faster feedback loops between users. You have data literacy, which is self-service understanding within the models. You have governance, operational definitions and sensitive data management, and then speed, which reduces bottleneck and faster project delivery. Robert, do you have anything to add on the ROI?
No, I think that it really comes back to the use case which we talked about at the beginning, which is providing visibility of these models to the business community, which is being asked for that for quite a while. So this is Quest's solution in this space for the modeling. It's called the ER360. It is a relatively new product, but it has made amazing leaps and bounds, and it's just getting better and better all the time. So we're excited to see this ER360 as an extension of the erwin family of products. And I think, Kevin, you're about ready to go in and show us a demonstration of how this would work. Is that correct?
So that's my next step here. If we take a look at the latest release of the ER360, actually I'm looking at it right now, but let's start off in ER360 itself. So I'm going to just log in, and you'll notice that 15.2, there's been new branding provided by Quest for ER360. Sometimes I think during presentations it slows down the whole process. So as you could see, this is the landing page of ER360 homepage. This is relatively a small environment, obviously. We have I just have 4 active users, 4 profiles, and a total of 4 data models that have been harvested from the MART itself. You have your you could actually do some you could jump back and forth from the MART portal. If I selected this icon, you have your dark mode, the search, you have your help, and you could also change your UI settings through this capability over here to the right. There's a token and an account, your account information as well. So off to the left, of course, so you have your menu items here. And again, I've logged in as an administrator, so I see everything. So if I go down to users, for example, this is going to be the place setter where you define your users. And I'll have there are some existing users that I have created previously, but there are a couple of different ways to bring users in from the MART itself. You could create a new user from a server user, which is sort of it's known as a logical user, but you could also import users from the MART.
And Kevin, for people that don't have users or users that exist outside the MART, they can do that through Active Directory, I believe, as well.
That is correct. So I'm going to just import these 3 users from my MART, and then once once that process completes, I'll go in and show the capability under the user type. So these are some of the you have your basic, you have your Windows. You do have your Windows, you have Active Directory, you have a group user, and you have the Entra ID. So all this has to be set up within the Mart configuration in order to bring those users, import them over as groups, as individual users into ER360. So once we have our users defined, you'll see that I have these new, these are the users that I brought across. You can then go into profiles. So out of the box, the ER360 has two profiles. One is a viewer profile, and the other is a admin profile. So the viewer has certain permissions that you can do within the tool itself. And let me just expand on those. So basically, a viewer can do very limited capability in the tool itself, like viewing a library model, etc. Admin has all the information that you can do. You could always create your own profile, like I did here from my basic user, and a data steward as a use case example within ER360. Once you have your user base, the profiles created, or you could then assign them to specific libraries as needed. Or at you could start at the very top level, which is the ER360, but these are your containers where you have your libraries and your models. Expanding on that, there's eMovies. And I want to switch back for a moment. Okay. Light mode. Okay, so here, right now, the eMovies model, I could assign a myself as a basic user with MMadmin, which would allow me to open this data model as needed. So again, these are all your place setters where the models are saved from the Mart in ER360. You can always create your own catalogs as well to house any of the ER360 models that come in. You can also, as you'll see here, that I have several other different types of models that we'll take a look at during the demo part. Again, this is on the permissions part, and I apologize. If I go to catalogs, these are the containers where you have your data models themselves. So think of catalogs or libraries as your containers, similar in the Mart database or Mart portal. Again, you could delete catalogs, you could expand, but you could also create a library within the ER360 root, and then you could send or harvest a data model directly to that particular library that you had created. And the browse part of ER360, this is the I think the meat and potatoes functionality in this tool is actually going in and and browsing your Mart, I'm sorry, your metadata that has been brought in to ER360. So again, this particular eMovies model was harvested earlier. It's designated as sensitive data SDI because we have the some columns and attributes set as sensitive data. And if I take a look right now, I am on in the, you can see the tables, but let's switch over to the logical view of data model. expand on this, and I'll expand on entities. Okay, I know customer, I defined that in the in the Erwin data model itself as sensitive data. If we take a look here, I'm going to select customer address, and you'll see these are the object properties of in this example, it's a customer address. So you'll see that the sensitive data is set as true, and that's the reason why this particular data model is set as or tagged as SDI. There may be some other attributes here. If I take a look at customer entity customer and the attributes under that for credit card, you'll see that SDI is not set here. And again, that's a setting that's in the Erwin DM model that you could add as needed. So let me just expand on customer, and I'll go into customer address. And again, we're drilling into the metadata itself. You'll see that there are domains here, and one of them is address. And if I select that one and I go into right here, if I go into data flow analysis, it will bring back all those the domain address that's associated with specific entities that has been assigned to employee address, customer address, and store address. So this is a nice little feature here that shows the usage. You could also see the definition, the definition flow main default. It's a string. It's a standard string, and that's the user-defined domain called address itself. Okay, let me see what else we have here. If I go into ER diagrams, we can see how the model is visualized going here. Okay, so these features, see how crisp it is, which should Erwin model itself. One thing that you do, if you click on anywhere in the visual area, this flyout will open up, and it just gives you information about the model itself. And to return back, you just click in there. One thing that you can do, payment. This is the entity payment. It will give you the physical name definition, and it gives you some information on UDPs here as well. So that's the information on entity. You go into select a specific attribute. In this one, it's payment information regarding that attribute. And since I'm in the physical view, I can connect to the logical view and get the logical represent the model itself. So one thing that you can do also, I'll be this information here, but let's say searching here, this is a search on the entity customer. So if I select that one, it will jump right to, if I hit drop down and go to customer address, highlight address, you'll see here that these are, as I mentioned earlier, that they're denote um, with sensitive data indicator. So when you select a relationship, it automatically will jump over to regarding that relationship that you're selecting. Along here, you have your bullseye with on and off, but it allows you to maneuver within the model itself. You get to zoom level and then reset it back. Zoom in. You could take, let's say I move payment over to the left a little bit. You could undo it or redo. This allows you to go full screen, and there's a way to download the content, this particular picture of these objects as a SVG file. Oops, I always do that. Sorry about that. I could go into entity mode, which will give you the entities representation here. I'm going to go back to attributes, bring that one back, and I could go into definition. And you'll see here that some of the, most of the, in fact, all the entities here have specific definitions that have been added to each of the entities. And you have your primary keys where you could, let me see if I could add some data types here. Okay, let me see, I think, select that one. Data type, my mistake here. Okay, so I select the data type and it brings up the data types under the attribute. You could also display alternate keys, your domains, your null options, primary keys. So you could take this information and really expand on the visualization part of how the model appears read-only in ER360. So here, these are some of the controls, but you also have a way to, and let me just bring this back, and I'm going to deselect some of these. You could also lay out the visualization in specific modes. This one's tree. Not impressed with how this, okay. The relationship lines went afar. Let me see if I could do undo. Okay. We have a circular layout and refresh. Again, you could switch between your logical, physical, and again, you could also search on specific information. Here, I typed in the imp. So these are a lot of the controls with regards to the visualization part of ER360. You also have, let's say, for example, you have users that are defined in the tool itself. You could take this link and this, you could copy the link and you could send that off to somebody that has access to ER360. You could collaborate here through email. You could add comments. Customer table needs updates. And then I could post these successfully. And this is where you have your comments you can endorse, and where users can endorse or add warnings or certify that what was made in the updates that can be quickly be brought to the Mart model as an update itself. Some other nice things here is, let me just go back. Let's see here. I'm just going to click on this. You could download the entire content to a CSV file as well as a Excel. If this was a JSON file, you would be able to generate a JSON file information off of that data model itself. And then you could also add an attachment here. So if I browse here, I'll go here. Hopefully it goes here. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my Quest Platinum certification. And I'll save it. And now, so what I did, added as an attachment. So this is information that you can, any a CSV, a doc, JPEG, etc. As long as it's 2 meg. Excuse me. While we're still here at looking at specific data models, you'll see that eMovies is a entity relationship data model, but Erwin now supports, well, several versions of Erwin. 15.2 specifically now supports a conceptual model. And here I'm just going to jump in, and it's a very basic. If I go to subject areas and I go to accounting, and if I go to diagram, and display, I guess it doesn't like this. Let me see here. Just refresh. And I'm going to go back to browse. So Robert, any questions that have come across? I haven't been monitoring.
Well, just obviously, we're just looking at, you've got the models that are successfully imported, but how do you actually harvest the models into the ER360? That's one of the questions that has come up.
Sure. And let me just get to that one in a moment.
Sure.
So I just want to go back to browsing, where I go into just a couple of the data models that Erwin supports. Let me finally get to the conceptual model. And if I go to, where's my, I have to expand on this, so drill in here. Subject areas and accounting. Display. Okay, so Erwin now supports 15.2 conceptual modeling, and this is a model that was created through the Derive design layers. So it gives you the information on as entities in the model itself. So this is one example of a type of model that that can be harvested into ER360. We also have a graph database, a Neo4j model. Let me drill into this. So I'm going to just go into my graph. Okay, as soon as you open up the graph ER diagram icon right here, so as soon as I select it, it will automatically form it into a Neo4j model itself. We also have a way to show NoSQL model, specifically MongoDB. And here's the information regarding that. Again, this is an Erwin model that's been harvested into ER360. There are a couple other, check it on time. There are a couple of other ways to formulate your page. You can create a enterprise architecture of specific models in ER360, but show is the and worksheets. So here you could create your own sections, but here I've created a entity definition where this collection information of all the definitions specific. I also have a standard sensitive data indicator tag entity. So as soon as I select that one, and then you go into columns, true. So that's a collection of SDI columns and attributes. And then we have worksheets where you could create. I created a worksheet based on in the data model. You'll see that listing here. Where you, and you do your I selected UDPs, but you could also create on collections if you have it, tables, etc. And then you could filter out on models that have been harvested. You know, we did this for the customer table, which brings up information on. I'm doing a find. This is all the information on customer ER within eMovie. So the question on how to harvest from the bar to ER360. So all the harvesting occurs through the Mart portal interface. So I'm going to just log in. So this is the Mart portal. Over to the right, there's a waffle or an app here. And if I select harvest to ER360, and obviously these are all the previous jobs that I have done throughout this year so far with the newest release. But if I do an add job, so all the information, all the models in the Mart are in these containers here. And I believe I have a model that I could send over. Let's see here. Okay, yes, the publication systems. If I select that one, you could do. I could have done a search here also. So this one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a select, add, and update. What if the let's say, for example, you've made some changes in the existing model that you want to populate over, override that's in ER360. You would do a delete and reload. What I'm going to do is match this library structure in ER360, and I'll just create the job. And I'm just going to do it once. If you had your email set up, you could add an email notification, but I'm just going to select run now and select save. That will trigger the job. And basically what it's a small model. So basically what you could do here is these are some of the controls that you have. You could select it. You could run a job as a one-off. You could cancel. You could view any logs that may occur if there's a failure, and you could do a refresh of the job. So now it's still running. So the state here is running, and I'll do one more. Running still. And you'll see that it's successful. And that's if you wanted to see the logging, you can. So if I now go back to ER360 and I go to browse and I start drilling in library 1.2, you'll see that now the publication system data model is now in the tool itself. Again, you could toggle back and forth between logical, physical to get the representation. And I apologize. One thing that I did not go over is the global search, which again is a big part of this. I go into customer. This will give you, if you go right to the top, this will, you start typing, this will bring in all the information here. You could obviously clear, but you could start using certain, these are these are the selections that are defaulted, but you could also add definition and comments on the search, as well as advanced filtering. Let's say, for example, okay, I wanted, I just want tables, for example, and columns. I select that and I go and I choose, I'm going to use eMovies. Select that and then submit. So that will bring back the information through the global search. You could always take this information and open in a new tab, or you could copy the link and send it off to another user that has the capability to log in. So let me just bring up the my slides again. And I believe we went over, Robert, I don't know if you wanted to speak to this one.
Yeah, I'll close it out, Kevin. Thank you very much indeed. You know, as our friends have posted in the comment there, the ER360 is the replacement of the Erwin web portal, which has now been deprecated from Quest. So that is a good point to note there. ER360 has been going quite well. Kevin has showed how you can navigate the catalogs and drill into the object properties, shown how you can collaborate via the comments and endorsements, run a global search, how you can build worksheets, how you can create collections for team and sharing, and how you can review the metadata both in the tool and the diagrams from a tree structure. I also want to say, Kevin, we can go to the next slide. I also want to mention that this is a product that is fairly straightforward to set up and install, but Santel does offer some consulting services as well as the ability to go ahead and help you buy the ER360 product. So if you are interested in seeing perhaps your model in the system, we'd be delighted to set up a demonstration for you. You can email me at robert.lutton@sandhillconsultants.com. And I think there's a slight typo on my phone number there, Kevin, 905-847-5882, but don't worry about that. Email is usually the best way to get a hold of me. So yeah, if anyone would like to see Erwin ER360, more in-depth demonstration now or in the future, Quest is continuing to make solid enhancements on this tool set. Please go ahead and just email me at the email communications below. Or if you see us on LinkedIn or our other social media platforms, just send us a note. The email will get back to us. Kevin, many thanks indeed for that. I think we have answered the couple of questions that were out there. And hopefully you enjoyed the session. Do look out for more updates on our Erwin 15.2, 15.1, and 15.0 updates. That will be more of a written communication rather than a webcast. And we are hosting, I think, on the March the 11th, 12th, and 13th, one of those 3 dates, how you can create your data products faster and better with Quest's latest offering that have come out on the market, which is the automated data factory, data product factory, ADPF. So more exciting stuff you'll be hearing from us shortly. With that, Kevin, thanks indeed for your time.
Next time
and for
my face isn't cutting in and out. Looks like I'm in the twilight zone there. Sorry about
that's right,
that.
you were fading in and out, right? So, but you came across loud and clear, Kevin. So thanks for that. So with that, thank you indeed for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this webcast. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.